Hours ahead of a meeting with Marco Rubio and JD Vance, Greenland's Prime Minister held a press conference where he reiterated that Greenland was not for sale. But if it came to picking a side, Greenland would choose to stay with Denmark.
Grønland vil ikke ejes af USA.
Greenland does not want to be owned by the USA. Greenland does not want to be governed by the USA. Greenland will not be part of the USA. We choose the Greenland we know today, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the USA and Denmark here and now, we choose Denmark. We choose NATO. We choose the Kingdom of Denmark. We choose the EU. This is not the time for internal discussions and division. This is the time to stand together and build on the community we know and we want.
For President Trump, who set his sights on Greenland not to set up more military bases but to own the world's largest island, Greenland's Prime Minister saying he prefers staying with Denmark than switching to the US would never sit well, and it didn't. Here's how Trump reacted to that statement.
That's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Greenland is an autonomously governed territory of Denmark that has its own Prime Minister and Parliament. Trump's idea of annexing Greenland was first voiced in 2019. Then he sort of put it on the back burner. Now he's doubling down on his demand, saying Greenland is vital to US national security interests. He's told the New York Times that it's psychologically important to own rather than add more bases because, in Trump's words, ownership gives you things and elements you can't get from just signing a document. He also insists that the United States must own Greenland to prevent Russia or China occupying the strategically located and minerals-rich territory in the future. White House officials have been discussing various plans to bring Greenland under US control. That includes military options. Another one is a lump sum payments option to Greenlanders as part of a bid to convince them to secede from Denmark.
This is not just about Greenland or the kingdom. It is about not being able to change borders by force, not being able to buy another people. And it is about small countries not having to fear big countries. That is why we are clearly speaking out. And that is why many allies are doing the same in the Nordic countries, in Europe and in the rest of the world.
Many European leaders have said they stand by Greenland and Denmark. But no one can lose sight of who they are dealing with here. Donald Trump, who authorized the US military to capture the sitting president of another country right at the start of the new year, and whose senior advisor Stephen Miller has called borders international niceties, telling CNN that no country will oppose the US militarily when it comes to Greenland. There's hardly been any real pushback on these, and mere statements in condemnation seem to have no effect on Trump or his administration. That's something Denmark and Greenland's leaders are acutely aware of as they head to Washington for a meeting with the US Secretary of State and the US Vice President. And this statement from Denmark's Prime Minister vocalizes what most world leaders feel.
It has not been easy to stand up to completely unacceptable pressure from our closest allies for a lifetime. But there is much to suggest that the hardest part is now ahead of us.
For more such stories, subscribe to SNG News, hit the like button and follow for more news updates.